So today our journey is going to take us somewhere a little different, and I'm really excited for you to come along for the ride. If you've been following us over the past year, you know we've run across quite a few men that we've tried to help. Many were suffering from addiction or homelessness, just living outside. But many also had lost a lot more than that. They'd pretty much lost everything. They lost their job, they lost their family, they lost their friends. In a lot of cases, they've lost all hope and even reason to go on. And what's been kind of heartbreaking for us is wanting to help, but just not knowing how, or not knowing where the resources are that can provide whatever's needed. And unfortunately, in Tampa, Hillsborough County, most of the sources are geared toward children, families, single parents. But the single men, there's very, very little available, and they tend to go unserved. At least that's what we thought until now. We just heard about an organization called the Timothy Initiative, and we've been invited to go over and check it out and meet the founder. His name is George Wood, and he's going to tell us all about it. So I hope you'll come along for the ride. Today I've got a special treat. I've had an opportunity to meet George Wood. He's an amazing guy, and wait till you hear what he's doing to help so many men right here in our local Tampa community. George, let me introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little bit about the Timothy Initiative and what you guys are doing here.
Sure. My name is George Wood, and I started an organization called the Timothy Initiative it's going on about 11, 12 years now. And we work with men coming out of brokenness, whether it's, addiction or homelessness or, whatever it might be. Typically it's some type of separation from, family, friends, and society. But we kind of form this community of men that live life together and follow Jesus together, and at the same time we see some amazing miracles happen where we have men that get on average 3 years or more sober. Wow. Which is unheard of in the recovery industry.
What's normal? What's a normal percentage for people that go into a program to try and get sober? Like, what's a normal success rate on something like that?
Actually, recent studies show that it's about 5%. No matter what the rehab is, if it's the most expensive, if it's the best AA, on average, 5% of people that try to enter recovery make it a year or more sober.
That's just amazing that you would think it would be a lot higher than that, only 5%. How does that compare to the success rate that you guys have been having here?
It's interesting. I think, our rate is around 85% that make it 3 years or more. And just today we had one guy hit 5 years, another guy hit 4 years. Last month we had a guy hit 6 years. And I think, interestingly enough, I think it's the aspect of community that these men come into. And usually when you're in addiction, you've lost everything. You've lost, family, friends, and a reason to live. And it's the coming into a community of other men that are, trying to do life together that gives a new form of hope. And it's that hope that helps men stay sober.
Gotcha. And from what I understand, you guys this isn't the Beverly Hills rehab facility where everybody comes from a wealthy family and you put them up at the beach for a month and everybody's good, right? This is like, from what I understand, it's men that even the Salvation Army isn't able to help or willing to help anymore, right? It's like when they've hit rock bottom and almost lost all hope. You guys provide an opportunity for them to get that hope back?
Also, interestingly enough, those are the only men we take. So, when you have limited resources, we figured we'd be better off spending our resources on a specific type of person, and that's the guy that has no more opportunities. That's the guy that doesn't have a family waiting to pay his bills. That's the guy that doesn't have a job waiting. That's the guy that doesn't have anywhere to be in a year. And that is the major shift where people call me all the time and they'll be like, hey, I want to get my son in there and get him all better and then get back home to us and start living his life. And honestly, he's not going to be a fit for what we do, because we're not really talking about sobriety at all. We're talking about life transformation, and that's a totally different thing. We're talking more of a discipleship model than we are a 12-step model. We're talking more of life on life than here's your life, go live it. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Well, to me, it's like the proof is in the results. I mean, if 85, 90% or more are managing to stay sober and get their life back on track, I mean, to me, that speaks volumes for itself right there. So I understand you're actually writing a book that kind of explains how the process works and everything. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Sure. I entered into the process probably a month or so ago, and I'm working with a co-author, and it's all written from my perspective, my view, and my experiences. And basically, we're trying to tell the story of how recovery needs to be looked at differently by the church in particular, but not just the church, the world outside. And not just recovery around addiction, but recovery around mental health or suicide and things like that most often we look at as you can see, somebody needs recovery right now. Here they go.
Yeah, this is real life. That's the street right there.
It's funny because he said it's not the Beverly Hills of rehabs. No, not at all. We are kind of the antithesis of that. But anyway, so the book really focuses around the way that recovery is viewed by society around addiction, mental health, and suicidal thoughts. And what we found in TI is that when we as a brotherhood and our own little society form a place of welcomeness and a place of understanding and empathy, men begin to have hope. When they begin to have a say-so in how things are done each day and a sense of belonging, they begin to have hope. And of course, obviously Jesus, the book is really centered on how can the world look more like Jesus to people in recovery. And I just think that, there's been a lot of measures that have worked for a while, but I think we need to have a complete overhaul of how recovery is viewed. In particular, the book is going to be focused on ways that the church can do it better.
Gotcha. And it's like there's all the the academics you can bring into the equation, but at the end of the day, it takes Jesus to change the heart, right?
Amen.
And provide the restoration.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is what we found is that. Okay, that sounds great on a mug or on a poster where, just give your life to Jesus and everything's good, but that's not reality. Reality is life is hard and life is better when you have Jesus with you. Right. And so for us, it's like, we don't have a guy come in and be like, just give your life to Jesus and you're good. It's like, no, how about this? You're going to come in the doors and you're really going to struggle, but look at me and you're going to see Jesus. And when you see Jesus in me, eventually one day you're going to believe you can see Jesus in yourself. And then a person can begin their journey towards wholeness, towards walking out what it means to be a follower of Jesus. But it's not a cliche, you're a new creation. That's a wonderful saying and a great verse, but it is impossible to live out without other people walking alongside you, helping you.
Amen, brother. Well, if somebody watching this has a heart for helping the men with the Timothy Initiative or wants to get involved with help, maybe contribute toward the book, because there's definitely costs associated if anyone's ever written a book with it in the process and getting that to completion. How can they help?
Right now, we actually made a deal with the person that we're working with where they really gave us a great cost on the book, but we are still $5,000 short of being able to pay for the whole process.
Okay.
We're hoping to have the whole book completed by December 15th. And so if anyone would like to give, that would be amazing. They can go right to Timothy Initiative and give right on the website or our Facebook page and just note what it's for. And I will be happy to send you kind of a preliminary, visual of what the book's going to look like, the chapter layout and the content that we're hoping to have.
Okay, great. And we'll drop some links at the end of the video so you can check it out, and or you can reach out to me if you want to get in touch, and we'll share everybody's contact information and all that. But anyway, man, George, thanks a lot for sharing, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and personally, Beth and I look forward to getting behind and supporting what you guys are doing, and it's just amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening.
Awesome.
So Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that the Lord has plans to prosper us and to give us all a hope and a future. So if you have a heart for helping restore broken men right here in Tampa, and you want to get behind the great work George is doing, come join us and visit thetimothyinitiative.org. Or if you're able to volunteer some time, consider becoming a mentor. Or if you'd like to help George finish his book and share with the world and the church a new look at addiction, mental health, and suicide, where he's having an 85 to 90% success rate, visit thesobertruthproject.org. And thank you again for taking time to watch and for taking time to care.